So about 4 years ago I made a solid wood Olo style surfboard, like the traditional Hawaiian Chiefs board. They're normally about 16, 18 foot longer. I decided to go only 12 foot on this one just for the ease of moving it around, carrying it and putting it on the roof of the car and storing it. I never really put much time into the shape or anything. I just kind of cut it out and beveled the rails a little bit. You can see here they're just kind of pinched down to a square edge. But I decided I wanted to restore it and get it into a decent rideable shape for this summer. So the first job was to clean all the bird crap and dirt off it. And then I went out and busted out the block plane and I thinned out the nose quite a lot, just to give it a touch more natural rocker, because the actual blank itself's dead flat. So I just took a little bit of thickness out from the bottom of the nose to give it a little bit of nose lift. I have found with these finless boards that too much rocker actually makes them spin out a lot more. A flat board has more rail that will hold into the face of the wave. From what I have figured out riding this Olo is that the Olos really aren't a trim board. They're more of a, they ride a nice unbroken swell, kind of straight to shore, and you can trim a little bit. Here I am working the tail, putting more of a football style, half football shaped roll into the bottom of the board. And still pinching it to a sharp rail, which I've decided after test riding it this afternoon that I'm going to actually round the rails in the back end, and hopefully that'll create a bit more drag where the water can suck up over the rail and onto the back of the tail and give it a little bit more directional movement, as opposed to the tail sliding out, which it did a little bit, but it still rode pretty good. Here you can see my support team. I've got the dogs and the boy. They're all helping out. And I'm thinning the rail out quite a lot there, putting a lot more roll into the bottom of the board, because that not only will give it a bit more drag, it'll create drag from the water running across the board, which will actually give it more of a directional sort of tendency across the wave. Then it was down to sanding. My sander's broken, so everything I did, all the planing and sanding was all done by hand on this board this time. I pretty much just used a block plane and a bit of wood with a couple of rolls of 80 grit and 180 grit sandpaper. The Polonia timber is really easy to work with. You don't have to have it sealed because it doesn't absorb salt water anyway. So I literally rode this afternoon. Here you can see the roll in the nose, and I've put the roll the whole way through the board, which encourages it to actually track in a forward direction and not to spin out sideways. The beauty of it is it's just sealed with linseed oil, as you can see here. You can see the layers of the board too. The board's made out of 3 layers of 19mm Polonia. I couldn't get a 12-foot blank, so I used two 6-foot sections in the middle, and then on the top and bottom layer are a 6-foot with a couple of 2-foot blocks on the ends, which has made it very strong. This thing's been thrashed. I've let it go over rocks and stuff like that, and nothing's even looked like hurting it. The linseed oil soaks in nicely and gives it a nice shiny finish, and really brings the colours out in the wood. In this shot here you can see the layers in the nose. Overall I was pretty happy with how it came out today. There's a little bit of, after the test ride I've decided it does need a little bit of tweaking. I'm going to roll the rails in the back end. But it's a good fun board, very, very difficult to ride. Very rewarding though when you get one. It's just an absolute screamer. So keep an eye out. I will post a video of some footage hopefully sometime in the not too distant future. Thanks, bye.